It is finally time for Duke to face off against our most heated rival, while ESPN's leading bracketologist calls this game a great opportunity for North Carolina to move up in bracketology, and we got to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Duke Basketball 365. If you're a Duke Blue Devil fan, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. But let's jump right into the news, what we got for today. It is a absolutely huge day. We've been waiting for this one for a while. Coming from our insider Hugh Strain, this feels like the best matchup between Duke and North Carolina on paper in the last few seasons. Over the last 2 years, the Blue Devils have been 3-2 against the Heels and were clearly the better team a season ago. Not only do Duke and North Carolina match up very well from a positional standpoint, but this rivalry also offers potentially the best one-on-one matchup in the entire sport between freshman superstars, Cameron Boozer versus Caleb Wilson. Boozer and Wilson are the consensus number 3 and number 4 overall picks in most 2026 NBA mock drafts, respectively. The two are high-level forwards and two of the most productive players in college basketball, but Wilson has been on a heater as of late. At 6'10 and 215 pounds, Wilson is an extremely high-level athlete and impacts the game in practically every facet. He can block shots, facilitate, and score in a myriad of ways, and he's been on a heater over UNC's 4-game winning streak. Over the Tar Heels' last 4 games, Wilson is averaging 21.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.3 steals, and 1.0 blocks per game on 59.6% shooting from the field. So, hey, we knew that we have our work cut out for this game every single year. It never seems to matter how good we are, how good they are. Game goes to seemingly overtime every single season. Today should be absolutely no doubt. This is going to be a fantastic game, but there is one player that we need to look out for a little bit more than everyone else, and that is UNC's Caleb Wilson. He's a power forward, 6'10", 215 pounds. As a high school recruit, he was a 5-star, rated a 99 out of 100 by 24/7 Sports. Of course, we now know he took his talents to Chapel Hill after coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, and he is having a very successful season so far. His statistics over the entire course of the season: 20 points per game, 9.8 rebounds per game, 2.8 assists per game, and 58.1% shooting. So very, very high scorer. Also a very good rebounder, although not getting his teammates involved at a very high level. But this is a very good player who will pose a tremendous matchup. Should be extremely entertaining to watch him go up against our best player, Cameron Boozer. It's pretty awesome. They're both similar height, both play the same position, so we are highly expecting them to be on each other, although look out for the job that Malik Brown will no doubt be able to do on Caleb Wilson as well. Expecting him to get switched on to Caleb Wilson to play some good defense there as well. But it's not just Caleb Wilson that we are going up against tonight. It is the entire UNC team. Taking a look at, these are, this is their last 4 games, actually omitting their most recent game. They won Monday night versus the Syracuse 87-77. But before that, we can see they are on a bit of a winning streak, beating Georgia Tech, beating number 18 Virginia for one of their best wins of the season, and beating Notre Dame as well. Right before they went on this winning streak, although they were on a bit of a losing streak. They played the West Coast Atlantic Coast Conference teams back-to-back the same way we did. They played Cal and Stanford and actually ended up losing to both teams. But as evidenced by their ranking, the AP voters are not dissuaded by their 4 losses. They still believe that UNC is a very, very high-ranked team. Their other losses are against the Michigan State Spartans earlier on in the season, and their first loss was versus SMU, where Boopy Miller, the best player for the SMU Mustangs, was playing against UNC. He was not playing when we faced off against SMU. As for North Carolina's best wins of this season, we can see UVA on the list right here. I've written down Kentucky as their 3rd best win. Kentucky started the year off poorly. They've won something like 7 out of their last 8 games, so they're starting to bounce back. They are still projected to make the field of 68 when March Madness comes out by ESPN's Joe Lunardi, but Kentucky certainly not the team that they usually are every single season. And then UNC started off the year with a Champions Classic victory. Well, they didn't start the year. Third game of the season for UNC. They played against the Kansas Jayhawks with Darren Peterson, the player who's projected to be the first overall pick in the NBA draft, and also did not play against the Duke Blue Devils when the two Blue Bloods matched up. Darren Peterson played against UNC, and UNC was still able to beat them. However, while the AP voters have North Carolina ranked extremely highly at 14, the KenPom rankings disagree. The KenPom rankings are advanced analytics, pretty much trying to determine, like, in the future, if every team played like 1,000 games or something like that, how good would each team be? And the KenPom rankings have nothing to do with, in football we say what's on the side of your helmet. That doesn't really work for basketball. So I guess the name on the front of your jersey, it feels like, KenPom has UNC ranked as the 30th best team in the country. That feels a little bit low, but I certainly trust the KenPom rankings, which evidences to us that the AP voters have a little bit of UNC blue blood bias when they rank the Tar Heels as high as they have them ranked. But speaking of bracketology, I mentioned in the beginning of this video that Joe Lunardi actually called this game as a great opportunity for the North Carolina Tar Heels to improve their March Madness resume. UNC's chance to climb. North Carolina has the best chance to join the top seeds this weekend because it has the top opportunity, facing its Tobacco Road rival Duke. Now, you may say, but this weekend, the team playing the toughest game, who is also a highly ranked team, would be St. John's playing against UConn. But UConn is actually projected lower in bracketology by Joe Lunardi. Joe Lunardi currently has the UConn Huskies as the 4th and final 1 seed. So, not a very low ranking at all, but has Duke rated above the UConn Huskies. If we look at our full bracketology picture here, I know it's a little bit blurry, but I just could not find anywhere a better view of this graphic, which was something that I really wanted to include in this video. We can also see North Carolina is currently the 4th ranked 5 seed. So that makes them the 20th team in the bracket, according to Joe Lunardi. So that is AP ranked 14, KenPom ranked 30, and then Joe Lunardi ranked 20th. So UNC, they are a tough team, but not as tough as they have been in the past. Although, if you pay very close attention to the Duke-UNC rivalry, which if you are watching this video, I am 1000% positive that you do, you know that it does not matter what games have been played previously in the season, unless it's the second meeting of these two teams. It does not matter what their records are. It does not matter what the coaching situation is. These games always seem to come down to the wire, and it's because of the tradition. It's because of the hate between the two schools, and it should be an absolutely amazing matchup tonight, and it is something that I absolutely cannot wait for. Should be an absolutely amazing game that we're going to be the betting favorite, but the game is not played it's not played by the bookies. It is played by the players on the basketball court, and I absolutely cannot wait. That's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video all the way through. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Duke.